Hi ladies and gentlemen, it's actually June 2nd, and I wanted to just put this preliminary in the video so that you'll know, okay, I know the sound is bad. I'm out in the wind in a lot of this at the Bundy Ranch and other places, and I apologize for that, but understand it's the images more than anything I want you to see, and what conversation, what dialogue you can hear. The important parts I think are there. You might have to strain a little bit, but please understand that I just think that this is important to get up. I apologize for not having the type of microphone on the camera that would allow me to put a windsock on it and that kind of thing, but you know, with what I do, I don't have the ability to bring a lot of equipment with me, and I really count on small portable cameras that I can use because, like I say, it's more important to get the information as best I can. What this is about, Pete Santilli called me up and said that they were doing a documentary. A gentleman from Britain was coming over to do this documentary and wanted me to be involved and some other people. So went back to Bunkerville, and that's what this is about. This is going to give you some of that information about that coming up. What I don't give in the video is the trailer. If you go on YouTube and type in The Last Rancher documentary, you'll see it there. It's by 21st Century Wire, and you'll be able to see this very wonderful trailer that shows you what the documentary is going to be about. So please accept my apologies on the sound. Like I said, it's the images that I want you to see and what was going on behind the scenes while I was there. I was there for 3 or 4 days doing that, and the crew is going to be there for probably another 1 or 2 or 3 days finishing up. So anyway, please accept the information for what it is, okay? Thank you. Hey, it's May 29th, and we're back at the Bundy Ranch. Pete Santilli called, and I guess they want to do a documentary on the situation that occurred here and has occurred here. And there's Brand over there, and this is Pete Santilli's motorhome. You can see he has a bunch of these placards on here. Kind of cool. Anyway, we're going to be here. There's the old demonstration area over there. So we're going to be here I'm going to be here for a few days, it looks like. I'm not sure about Brandon and his son, how long they'll be here. We're standing right where the very first altercation took place. The demonstrators out here when the BLM came down this road right here. Right through here and trying to make that turn right over in there. Anyway, I'll be doing a little bit on this to show you what's happening here, just for information purposes. I read a story this morning that Brand gave me. You know, the BLM really is out of control, and it's the enforcement arm for this Agenda 21. It looks like they've been pushing people off their land. You know, if they can't make up a story on something, or if they don't have anything like grazing fees that they can bring up, they make up a story. I'll get this straight. It's early. It's actually only 6:30 in the morning, and I drove all day to get here. Got here late last night. Okay, I want to show you some. We're on one of the roads out here. Remember, the BLM was running around here with 200 vehicles. Now, look what's right there. That is a desert tortoise, and it decided to hunker down right on the road. Now, so you have 200 of these vehicles from the BLM out here. How many of these do you think they ran over and didn't give a damn? You know, plus the fact they had euthanized how many Brand, 2,000 of them or something? 2,500. You know, so this was the excuse. And what do you think they were doing with the way they were running around here? So there he is right on the road, baking in the sun. If Brand hadn't seen him, we would have run right over him. So this is the deal here. And do you think that BLM truck cared? No, not 200 of them. Not in their convoys. They didn't give a damn about that. That was just the excuse, like it is in so many instances.
Hi, I'm Shannon Bushman. I'm a photographer and just kind of all-around American. I took the photos on April the 12th, really good close-up ones of the BLM, and I'm really glad that I did, because if we hadn't had those photos, I think they'd be getting away with this stuff right now. And we're not going to stop. We're going to expose them for what they're doing. This is not fair what they're doing to the Bundys, but it's not fair what they're doing to the American people. Everybody's getting this problem. You know what I mean? This is one rancher, lovely guy, but thousands of them nationwide, and we're seeing it in the news every day, are being harassed and driven out of business simply because, hey, they're ranchers and they use the public land. And we've got to do something about that. We've got to stop this tyrannical abuse. It's not just, hey, we've got some rules and you need to obey them. It's tyrannical abuse. They're being abused out of business, driven out of business from businesses that they've had for generation after generation after generation in the name of things like turtles. And I love turtles, but the truth of the matter is you can't drive a guy like Clive and Bundy out of business in favor of a turtle, right? They can live together. There's just this attitude that, hey, turtles have got to be here and the ranchers have got to go. It's just not true. It's all bad science. And,
that's right.
And we've got to get rid of this whole concept that the BLM, the Forest Service, the Department of Interior are in charge of our lives. I feel like we're living on the king's land or something, right? Don't go into the king's forest and shoot the king's deer because then we'll string you up somewhere. It's not true. This land belongs to Clark County.
Right.
This land belongs to the state of Nevada. The fact that the BLM is squatting on it is just absurd. The transfer of public lands has got to happen. We got to get the responsibility of managing these lands back into the local hands, where we can elect officials instead of having the king's men from the east running it like a giant bureaucracy that's out of control.
That's right. And I want to step in here. I guess these guys are waiting for it. They know I'm a camera freak over here. I just want to say this was one of the real heroes out there under the bridge when he was taking those pictures. He actually put his life on the line, and I just want to thank you for doing that. If it hadn't been for him, we wouldn't have gotten the evidence that we really needed. So
my pleasure.
Shannon, it's great.
Good meeting.
Nice to meet you.
Yep, great. Thank you.
Okay, Shannon is doing video of Patrick Kennington. Let's see who this is here. He's from Britain. He's doing a documentary on all this. I hope you can hear me. Wind's blowing bad. And where we are is we're at the old BLM compound. Alright, well, Patrick is down there with Shannon, and they're looking at the backstop. We're at the 200-yard marker here for this range. You can see it's even marked 200 there. I hope you can see that. Now, Brand, we're down below Mormon Mesa, and if we look back this way, again, sorry about the wind, right there is the bridge where all of the activity took place that last day. Alright, if you can see that here. Now, you have a range like this for what purpose, Brand? Speak up real loud.
This here is designed for long-range sniper shooting. This gravel area is used every inch of it, which is approximately 400 yards in increments. They're practicing at that end, shooting 400 yards that hill over there, a big pile of gravel, and we have dug up boat-tail sniper rounds. Now, boat-tails is the most aerodynamic bullet that you can get. They're designed for long-range shooting. Folks, they weren't just out here as a show of force. They were actively preparing to shoot Americans. The Mormon Mesa is right there. That's where I personally saw 3 sniper positions with a pair of 16 by 40 Zeiss binoculars. We're talking about approximately a $3,000 set of binoculars. Very, very accurate binoculars. They bring things in very close. Right there, that's from here. That's about
a half a click.
Yeah, and to where the protesters were, we're looking at about, say 1,000, 1,200 meters, well within range. And the thing that makes my blood run cold is now we are documenting the fact that they were actively practicing their long-range sniper skills in this area, preparing for American protesters.
In other words, ladies and gentlemen, if I can say it, these are not police officers, peace officers. This is a military operation. This was a military operation, and it is an ongoing military operation by these different alphabet agencies against the American people. And as I've said before, I don't even think all of the members of these alphabet agencies are Americans. I think there are a large number of them that are foreign nationals.
And to put this in context also, this is where the BLM compound was. If you see all those brown spots, that's where the corrals were, the BLM corrals, holding the stolen cattle. Okay? So they had all of their buildings here where they were harboring themselves as fugitives, in my opinion. So this gives you a pretty good description of what they were doing here.
All right, well, what Brandt's picking up here, next time you're told that the BLM and the EPA are worried about the environment, look at this. This was the netting that they used to camouflage to hide the cows back here, and they just left it here. And they're all, look at all this dung. I mean, there's tons of, now again, okay, this is biodegradable, but the point is, well, this is probably biodegradable as well, but it's at least, at the very minimum, littering. So these guys should be fined whatever the standard littering fee is, you know, under the state.
Yeah, if you get caught throwing a cigarette out the window, you're looking at, what, a $200 fine?
Yeah.
Okay? Look at this, the crap they left. They just left it. And from what I understand, there was a lot more stuff here that the Bundys and the volunteers with them actually cleaned up.
Right. So there you are, EPA and BLM. You don't practice what you preach. Liars, liars, liars. Pants on fire. Here's the backstop. Now this is stuff they used to put on the roads for one reason or another. They put all of this lead in here. Look what Brandt's holding here.
This is just a small sample of what we found that's not actually in the gravel there. This is what was outside of the gravel. So you can just imagine what's inside the gravel. Now, all across the nation, they are shutting down these lead plants, these bullet factories for lead violations. Okay? So here you got all kinds of lead. These bullets shed their cores. And this is an EPA violation of putting a toxic substance into the ground, into the earth, to be spread all over your freeways. And who knows what else. You know, animals come along, sometimes they'll pick at these, birds will pick at them and get a little piece of lead in them, and next thing you know, that bird's dead. So, again, like Roy was saying, they don't even practice what they preach. If you or I did this, oh God, they would build this up to the point they'd make it a major felony and be in jail for 20 years. Worse
than that, they'd have 80 SWAT officers attack your home, you know, do all those nasty things they do to us for that. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. But if the government does it, it's okay. Yeah, right.
Don't practice what they preach.
Just coming out and have a conversation. We'll do some interviews.
Santilli's RV that's going to go around on the yeah.
Right. Welcome to the mobile version of the Pete Santilli Show.
Going around the country talking to constitutional
how's
sheriffs.
Everybody doing? You want to connect everyone, or?
Yeah, I tried to just a little bit earlier, but yeah, they're all standing by. There are 3 people standing by to connect.
Let me figure this out here. Yeah, you're going to call me, and as a matter of fact, you want to do...
Yes, I'm here.
I don't know if we have time to do telephones. Let's skip the telephones today.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
we have a lot of people here, believe it or not, that may want to say hello and talk. And go ahead and connect me. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this. I'll connect you right back. Hang on.
I want to show you this sign. This is here in Bunkerville. Well, of course, we're back here doing a documentary, but I want you to see this. This says, of course, the Great Seal of the State of Nevada. Nevada land. Welcome and enjoy a free land by the people. I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. The wind's blowing as usual. If I had been standing right here a month and a half ago, the BLM would have come over, thrown me to the ground, tased me, CS'd me, tear gassed me, beat me up, and taken me to jail, merely for getting off the road that far onto the dirt. Okay, that's what happened to Davy Bundy and several other people. Out of control federal government doing crazy, crazy things, using military Fallujah tactics on American citizens when they should have just done the normal police type thing if they even think that they had a case. Not attack these people with a military force, which is basically what the BLM was when they were here, but gone ahead and gone back to court, you know, or you know, you could have put a lien on somebody's bank account or something, but no, they want to use force. Well, anyway, that's going on another topic. This, though, I want you to see. I don't really know who put this up here, but I believe it was the people of Bunkerville. For all of you who believe that the Bunkerville people did not support the Bundys. Yeah, a lot of people were quiet. You know, of course, they don't want to get in trouble. They felt for the Bundys, and they understand the plight that they were in and the stand that they were taking for everybody's liberties. But this is incredible. Now, there are two of these signs. There's one coming in here from exit 112 where I am now, and there's another one if you go into Bunkerville down that way as you're coming up from Mesquite. There's a second sign like this. This wasn't cheap, and to have it set here, and what's interesting is that the state hasn't removed it, because I suspect it's not a state approved sign, but to take this down would be absolutely horrific, so they better not do it. This is talking about the land of the free and the home of the brave, and these brave people that stood up against this federal tyranny. I'm out here to do a retake on some of this stuff on the documentary, and over here we have Patrick, who's doing the documentary. He's in charge, and this is really interesting. The BLM, I remember Dan Love saying, we're not killing any cattle. Well, guess what this is? This is a mass grave. They were killing cattle. They have killed cattle out on the range back over there. If nothing else, and a couple of bulls that were shot, at least one that I know of. And of course the calves were left out there to die. But here's a mass grave here, obviously. And if you don't believe that, look over here. This is the Bundys dug these up. You need to see this. So there are your beef prices, ladies and gentlemen, right there. That's why your beef prices are going up, and the BLM's attacking your food supply.
See the bullet hole in the back of that one's skull?
Yep, sure do. Look at that. Am I in your way, Patrick?
No. Do you think this is a violation of EPA?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it's the decomposition, but certainly the netting back there is, and the lead in the hill. But look at this. That's why your beef prices are just out of control, and they're doing this all over the country, primarily in the West, of course. Down below, that's the berm that they use as a backstop for their long-distance rifle training. I want to point out where this grave is. No one from the highway could see it. It's hidden down inside this little depression. So nobody's going to see this unless you're like that observation post that they had up on Mormon Mesa. So this is hidden from view of anybody, unless you could do a flyover. And guess what? It became a no-fly zone after the Bundys flew over this to get an indication of what they had as far as where the cattle were. So this is deliberate intent to conceal a crime. So you're right down here in this depression. So what you gonna do, FBI? You gonna come after him? Federal officers committing crimes. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the 500 yard, or well, I think they marked it off in yards rather than meters, 500 yard marker, and this is looking back towards that backstop for the rounds when they hit. That's the target right there. So here we are at 500. That's half the distance. Now we're going to go another 500 yards up to that mesa up there, and that's where the 1,000 yard marker is up on that hill. They didn't actually mark it. It's a concrete slab, but it's pretty obvious that that's the spot. This is the 700 yard marker, and here we are looking back again at the targets, actually the target. Here is the 800 yard marker. Looking back down again and going right back up. This is the 900 yard marker, and as you can see, we're less than a quarter mile from I-15 right there. Okay, and this is the view again. Down where the bridge is, where the final confrontation took place. And we're going to go back another 100 yards to the 1,000 yard marker. And here we are at the 1,000 yard slab. Very close to the freeway. 900 yard marker was just back there. You can't quite see it with this camera. There you are. And Pete, it's Antilles Trader again. Michelle Fiore's here and some other people. I just want to go through and show everybody here.
Senator from Gainesville, Georgia, what happened
to him. Because Michelle's here, it looks like the NSA has taken down Pete's broadcast, so they're trying to fix it. That's April there, and Michelle Fiore. April works for the state as well.
The teachers, educating our religious leaders from all churches, from all synagogues, from all mosques, from all over, because the Homeland Security here in Nevada is educating our religious leaders. They called for a meeting 2 weeks ago with some of our top heads of some of our different religious organizations, from Catholic to Jewish to
Department of Homeland Security?
Department of Homeland Security has briefed our religious leaders on their efforts, and basically they want to make sure that the religious leaders are steered and guided into their way of their protecting Americans. So, you know, if one of their members of their congregation comes to them and say, no, this isn't right, they're trying to get to the leaders before the people. So now it's our job to go back, set meetings up with all of the religious leaders, and explain, never, ever, ever tell someone that they're guilty when they're not. Check the facts and check who's saying it.
Right, yeah.
When I looked at this, I wasn't really sure what it was, so I called my assistant last night and I said, can you explain what this is? And she said, yes. The post office has opened your mail, cut the return sender, because my assistant always sends thank yous and prepares thank yous for me that I sign and we send out for people that write to me and send me mail. So this particular piece of mail was opened. The return sender was cut off. There were 2 cards in the envelope, and I didn't get a letter, so I don't know if they threw the letter out. I don't know who this came from, except I do know it came from an individual from Gainesville, Georgia. We looked up the zip code. They left the zip code on the mail. And inside this particular envelope, there were 2 other envelopes with cards, and they were dismantled, so I basically have to figure it out. And on the envelopes, it looks like the Post Service had written that there was $100 in each of the cards. One was addressed to Carol Bundy, and one was addressed to the Oath Keepers. And on the original envelope, obviously the post office in Georgia received this April 21st. I received it around May 30th. So over a month, they have basically took my mail, delayed it, and then sent it to me. Then they had the nerve, because obviously the person that sent it to me from Gainesville, Georgia, had stuck $100 in one envelope and $100 in another envelope. The Postal Service then took the $200 and sent a money order to me for $198.75 because they charged me for converting the cash into a money order of $1.25. So I just find that very odd. And I usually get a lot of mail, and for the past month, I would say my mail has dropped by 60%. And now I realize why, because I'm not getting most of it. And this one that I did get, I think they were afraid, and they literally sent it to me because maybe they thought someone was tracking the dollars. Mm-hmm. So they said, we better send it to her just so a bigger story doesn't come out on what literally took place.
In her story that you're about to hear is really, really important. You know why? Because it's the absolute God's honest truth. Now, what the public has been hearing as to, let's say, for instance, that Sheriff Mack made a comment, miscommunicated. He thought that that the federal government would never fire upon women or children or whatever. He mentioned something to the strategy. And that was not part of the strategy. We have a woman here that I'm going to introduce to you. Her name is April. She felt somehow, some way compelled, as you described it to me last night. There was something that drove you to come out here on that particular day. You made your signs. You're an activist. You're outspoken. I would say, if you were to put yourself on the political spectrum like me, you get to the right, you hang a right, and you just don't stop, right?
Right, exactly.
Which is a great thing. So you felt compelled to come out here. You thought it was outrageous what was happening to the Bundys. You came out here on the 12th. You didn't know what to expect. You just said, let's go to a rally. And you came here, and it was a life-changing experience.
Absolutely. I had no idea what was going to be going down that day. I simply thought I was going to come out here to protest against the BLM, and it turned out being what it was. And next thing I know, I had guns pointed at me.
You actually ended up at that first initial group of Ann and Bundy, and there's an epic, classic pictorial that was taken where he led that small initial group in prayer.
Yes.
And you were with that initial group. It was actually broadcast on Fox News.
Yes.
Picture footage. You went there, and was it just by chance that you ended up with that initial group? Just by chance? You just...
Yeah, because when we parked our car, there was already probably a good 30, 40 cars already parked. And then started down the trail, and I'm like, what are we waiting for? Got out and I started down the trail, and a lot of people held back.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm heading down the trail and see what we see. I had no idea that the BLM was gonna be there waiting for us. And we drove up there, and I saw Metro set up on the side, and I said, what are they doing here? Well, why are they all set up? What's NHP doing here? What's going on? Because we never decided to get the cattle until the hour was up.
Right.
That was never even mentioned. That was not one of the demands.
Right.
So to me, it just really messed with my head to sit there and see Metro set up, to see NHP set up, and all of a sudden BLM, once we got down to the bottom, set up with guns.
Right. They just left us hanging. You
Yes.
remember that day?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Didn't you feel like we would have been left behind?
Yeah, it was like they told us that that was what we were going to do, that the BLM are ceasing and desisting, and but they never gave any indication as to when the cattle were going to be released when he was asked that. So it appears that he simply tried to appease us, and then I think he thought that we would just disperse, everything's fine and dandy, good, they're going to release the cattle, that's going to be between Clyde and the BLM and the sheriff, awesome, and just thought we were just going to, all right, do nothing after that. So I was very happy after the fact, now after I thought about it, was good that Clyde gave him the hour time limit, because that's what the government likes to do, is, give you a little something to hush you up for a while, and then business as usual.
De-escalate, pacify, nothing to see here, everybody go home.
Yeah.
Right?
Move along.
When we got down there, you made a comment. You said you didn't realize just how dangerous that situation was. But when you got down there, were you also equally surprised that they were prepared for war?
Yes, I was not expecting that. And then when we got down there in Ammon, and I turned the corner and saw the guns there, and their PA system saying it was in violation of a court order, we needed to leave, and we kind of stood back for a second as they got their guns drawn on us, and Ammon said, all right, let's go ahead and let's say a prayer, and hopefully, we'll get the courage to go ahead and go talk to them.
Right.
So we got on our knees and we prayed, and after that, it was, I honestly had no fear.
Hold that thought right there. That's where I want to take it.
Doug Gillespie does not want this to be his last stance for the legacy of his sheriffhood. So when you look at, if I was the sheriff of Clark County that day, April 12th, even before April 12th, before the whole standoff, the standoff would have never occurred if I was the Clark County sheriff, because from day one, I would have simply said, BLM, leave my county, or my officers will arrest and detain you, period. I'm not going to go along with their little Homeland Security plan and get all of my police agencies, from Metro to Homeland Security to the Rangers to the BLM to the Nevada Highway Patrol. I'm not going to pull my police agency resources in order against my people, against the people that elected me to this office. It is that important that the people of Nevada and the people across America understand what their electeds are supposed to do and vote the right ones in. And don't be fooled by propaganda and media and mail pieces. So this particular incident here in Clark County should have never happened, would have never happened if our sheriff from the beginning told BLM, get off of my land, I'm the authoritative officer here, and if BLM, you do not abide by the Clark County law here, we will detain you, period. That would have ended this whole issue. We would have never had firearms being pointed at Nevadans, ranchers, and fellow Americans. So yes. You know, I have to tell you, someone who in my mind thinks that I'm fearless, every time I drive out here to Bunkerville, and now even in my own home, because there's definitely different things that have been happening, the day that we were out here giving a speech, that Saturday, April 12th, I stood on that stage and I could not help but scope all of the lands, looking for someone looking at me. And of course, I can't see that far away, especially being on a stage, but definitely very, very scary. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren and 2 daughters and a mom that I take care of, and there's no way that it's okay for a federal government to ever put a target on my back or call me a domestic terrorist because I'm protecting the people. It is very scary to think our federal government has a scope with a muzzle, the end of the rifle, pointed at you and could end your life and bring total suffering to your family, especially if you're the breadwinner of the family. Very scary, and unfortunately, if we the people don't do something about this now, that's going to be a normal way of living.
Amen.
Okay, now just come over here and get started. You want the young one to go first? Yeah. Oh, however it works, let's get her done.
So, Mr. Buddha, how old are you?
This is a birthday party for Buddha over here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Just a real quick scan of the party here, but I want to show you the house. Okay. And I will just let you make your own judgment call about all those financial claims that you hear about. Okay? And what these people do here to survive. Alright? This is Cliven Bundy's house. Alright? I think that's enough said. Yeah.
Bam! What's going on?
So I do always put it. Yeah. All right.
What's going on?
Selfies. Yeah, we're doing it all right here. We're doing it all right here. Here we are. All righty.
That's great. You were right behind me. Were you right behind?
This is Jay Red here. He is the son of Dr. Red from Landing, Utah, that Daniel Love of the BLM SWAT team raided about 5 years ago over a very small artifact worth about $50 to $75 that the government falsely claimed was worth $1,000. And the good doctor couldn't handle it and died as a result. So they're going to interview him here right now as part of this ongoing documentary on the Bundy Ranch.